So for activity 1, what we're going to do is we're going to use a spectroscope to look at different light sources throughout our house. And specifically, we're going to look at the fluorescent light bulb. So when we get the spectroscope, what we need to do is hold it in a way that the slit is facing the light source. That way we can be able to read it correctly. So once you've determined how to do that, you're going to be able to find your first, second, and third line spectrum color. And you're also going to be able to find first, second, and third line number. And you're also going to want to know if it's a line spectrum or continuous spectrum for activity 1. And then going to activity 2, what we're going to need to do is the spectroscope calibration. And this is where we're going to have to create a scatter plot in Excel, and we want to create the best fit line. So this is what's going to give us an equation that we're going to use for further activities. So this is an important one. So what we need to do is we need to create the best fit line, which we need to set the y-intercept to 0. And then, like I said, that will give us an equation, and we need to make sure that we create it appropriately, that the equation is shown on the graph. That way we can input it straight into our table. And then moving on to activity 3 is where we need to use the sticks, the flame test sticks. We need to divide those up into 4s, and then we're going to dip it into water and then hold it over the flame, and hopefully it will emit a different color flame. So depending on the color flame is dependent on the type of element it is and the type of element that's on the stick. So once we do that, we're going to do that with all of the 5 test sticks. And then one of them is unknown, and we're going to input our data into table 3. That should give us information about the color of the flame, the first spectrum line color and the second spectrum line color, and then we're also going to need to calculate the wavelength. So when we do that, this is when we take the equation from activity 2, the best fit line, and then we replace X with the line spectrum number, and that's going to be able to give us our line spectrum wavelength. So those are the basic overview of activity 1 through 3.